Give me 8 minutes, and I'll make 2026 the best year of your life. But before we start, I need you to be brutally honest with yourself for a second. You want to change, right? You want to heal, level up, become that girl. But here's the harsh truth most people won't tell you. If your calendar and your bank account don't reflect those goals, you don't actually want them. You want the life you currently have more than the one you say you want. And that disconnect, that's exactly what's keeping you stuck. Now, before you click away thinking, I'm just another person calling you lazy, stay with me because I've been exactly where you are. I used to read every self-help book, watch every motivational video, promise myself, this year will be different, and then, nothing. Same patterns, same struggles, same life. And you know what? I genuinely thought there was something wrong with me, like I was broken or I just didn't have enough willpower. But here's what I didn't realize at the time. It wasn't about willpower at all. Here's the thing though. Most people are running on motivation, which is basically like using a battery that dies every few days. What you actually need is structure, which is like plugging into the power grid. It doesn't run out. Let me break this down. Think about dieting, for example. Most people try to white-knuckle their way through it. They say, I just need to want it more. I need more discipline. And then they're standing in front of the fridge at 11 p.m. fighting with themselves. That's exhausting, right? But what if instead you looked at the menu before you went to the restaurant? What if you meal prepped on Sundays? What if you removed the decision entirely? That's structure. That's the power grid. And here's the truth bomb that changes everything. If your goals rely on feeling motivated, you're already behind. Because motivation comes and goes. Your period, your sleep, your stress levels, literally everything affects your motivation. But structure doesn't care how you feel. Now let me show you exactly where most people mess this up. And trust me, I did this for years. We think confidence comes first. We think, once I feel confident enough, once I feel ready, then I'll start therapy. Then I'll have that difficult conversation. Then I'll set that boundary. But here's where it gets interesting. That's literally backwards. The actual process is action, then experience, then competence, then confidence. You will never, and I mean never, feel confident before the first rep. You're not supposed to. That feeling of, I'm not ready yet, isn't a sign to wait. It's just normal. I know you probably think you need to feel strong enough first, or healed enough, or whatever enough. But real talk though, most people wait their entire life to feel ready, instead of acting their way to readiness. So what does this actually mean for you? It means that uncomfortable feeling you get when you think about journaling your trauma, or starting therapy, or confronting your patterns. That's not a stop sign. That's just your brain doing what brains do when they're about to grow. The confidence you're waiting for is on the other side of doing the thing scared. And that brings me to something that literally changed my entire life. And I'm not exaggerating when I say this. It's called locus of control. Basically, it's about who you believe is in charge of your life. Is it you, or is it everything outside of you? Here's what happens when you have an external locus of control. You think your healing depends on your family apologizing. You think your success depends on the economy. You think your happiness depends on finding the right person. And look, I get it. Sometimes life is genuinely hard and unfair and outside your control. But here's the thing. Believing you're in charge doesn't just change your mindset, it changes your actual results. Because when you believe you're in control, you start looking for solutions instead of excuses. You start taking action instead of waiting for permission. And very soon after you make this shift, something insane happens. You stop feeling like a victim of your circumstances and start feeling like the main character of your own story. Not in a toxic positivity way, but in a, I'm the one who gets to decide what happens next way. Now this next part might sting a little, but stay with me because this is where everything clicks together. You know those decisions you make when you're upset, when you're angry or hurt or anxious? Yeah, those almost never work out well. And then you spend the next week beating yourself up about it. So here's the rule that saved me countless times. If I feel emotional, I do not make a decision. Period. No texting back when I'm angry. No committing to things when I'm anxious. No making plans when I'm sad. Because listen to me carefully now. When your emotions spike, so do all the errors in your decision-making. Your brain literally can't think straight when it's flooded with cortisol. And here's the other piece. When you mess up, because you will, you're human, you get 24 hours to process it. Feel your feelings, journal it out, talk to your therapist, whatever you need, but after 24 hours, you move on. Here's why. Prolonged suffering impairs learning by keeping your brain in stress mode. You can't learn the lesson if you're still drowning in shame. Okay, so now that you have these principles, I want you to do something with me right now. And fair warning though, This might be uncomfortable. Look at your calendar for last week. Look at your bank statement for last month. Be completely honest. Do they reflect the person you say you want to become? Do they reflect someone who's prioritizing healing? Someone who's investing in growth? Someone who's serious about changing their life? Or do they reflect someone who's comfortable exactly where they are? I'm not saying this to shame you. I'm saying this because this is your truth test. Your time and your money don't lie. They show you what you actually value, not what you wish you valued. And this is your moment, right here, right now, in 2026. You can keep saying you want to change, or you can actually become the person whose calendar and bank account prove it. You can keep waiting to feel ready, or you can start acting your way to readiness. The choice has always been yours. So here's exactly what I want you to do this Sunday. Not next month, not when you feel ready. This Sunday. Sit down with your calendar and circle one thing that doesn't align with who you want to become. Maybe it's scrolling for hours. Maybe it's saying yes to things you don't want to do. Maybe it's avoiding the therapy appointment you know you need to book. Circle one thing. Then, and this is the important part, replace it with something that does align. If you're serious about healing, schedule your journaling time. If you're serious about growth, block out time for that online course. If you're serious about setting boundaries, literally schedule when you're going to have that conversation. Because here's what happens when you do this. Discipline stops being this heavy thing you have to force yourself to do and starts becoming the thing that brings you closer to who you actually want to be. It becomes your power grid, not your prison. And listen, I know you've tried before. I know you've failed before. I know there's a part of you that's terrified this won't work either. But think about it like this. Every single person who's ever transformed their life felt exactly how you're feeling right now. They just decided to act anyway. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to feel confident. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment or the perfect plan. You just need to start one Sunday, one decision, one action that proves to yourself that you're serious this time. Because at the end of the day, 2026 isn't going to magically be different because the calendar changed. It's going to be different because you decided to show up differently. Because you chose structure over motivation. Because you chose action over waiting. Because you chose to believe that you're the one in charge. So let me know in the comments, what's the one thing you're going to change this Sunday? I want to hear about it. This was the Siren Scriptures. Thank you so much for watching. Stay confident, smart, and glowing.